What are you talking about?
You see what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You hit live.
Oh, my bad. What are you talking about, though?
Man, I no.
No one knows.
This is why I can't tell anyone anything.
What up? Do me a favor, don't leave me. You're the only one here.
Yeah, you would think you would be a little nicer to me.
Well, if I had time, I probably would have scrubbed that out, okay?
True.
I was hitting live as you pointed it out. You're going to say something about aliens. I was excited to hear that.
No, too late.
Oh, damn. We'll talk.
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah. And Rumble 2. Maybe I'm going to do something
Nobody
different.
cares about Rumble.
Where is it? Where is it? Dun, dun, dun. Make it just a little quicker because I've gotten complaints lately. People can't wait for, 30 minutes until I start the show. Welcome,
Well, it's
everybody.
to give people time to come in because the notifications don't come out until, 30 minutes into a show.
30 to at least an hour. Yeah. A couple people told me an hour. I sent a post out this time. I wonder if people even saw that post I sent out like 8 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, but we'll see. And, we're thinking
honest,
random
I don't know
here,
where
people.
my phone is. Oh, here it is.
Ever since I changed it from the dump, it's like, oh, YouTube wanted me to keep the dump. Well, we're thinking random. The dump is on Wednesday.
Or talking random.
Yeah. Did I say think again?
Yeah.
Maybe it should just be thinking random because I keep getting stuck on that. Yeah, talking random. Come on.
Randomly talking.
We're randomly talking about things.
Thinking
like right
randomly?
Thinking randomly? That's just me without my medication. Did anyone really expect Ahsoka to be anything other than a pitiable disaster? Well,
No.
we'll get into that because we didn't. We did not. Jim Donegan in the house.
I certainly did not go in expecting, all right, they're going to pull it around this time. They're going to turn things around.
I didn't expect it to be I thought it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
Terrible.
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 That last episode, I don't think, I can't remember any time I've ever said, how far are we in? Said, what the, shut the fuck, movie.
Shut the front door.
And I've seen every Neil Breen movie. You know what I mean?
have.
But this one, it bananas all over the place, bro. How you going to chop somebody's neck and then have a pink sound to it? That's not how necks sound. What is wrong with y'all?
Unless someone has, I don't know, like a reconstructed vertebrae, maybe some type of metal disc in there. I don't know.
Sure.
Pluto, never forget. 1930 to 2006, people. We were talking that before the show. Represent Pluto. My wife bought me a couple cool shirts because I don't buy my own stuff and she buys awesome things because I usually come out with like, is this color all right? I don't know.
Color all right.
Pluto will always be a planet in my heart. What up, Keely Chow?
I thought it got switched back to being a planet.
No, dude.
Oh,
No.
is it still not a planet?
No, it's like a small something. I don't know. Ask Tyson.
I've always had problems with that guy.
Yeah. Well, why? You tell me why.
Because every time anybody would even hint at aliens, he would instantly knock it down as if it is so beyond the pale. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like just on the face of it, it should be dismissed without anyone even looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just for someone to be pro science and yet dismiss any type of investigation or looking into something just because it seems implausible or they're having a hard time believing it. That I think that should, encourage people to look more into something, not less. Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that. It's almost like he is, and now he's getting more into the like most intelligent people would say, as big as the universe is, and it has, as we keep finding that it's even older than we thought it was, that it's impossible that there is not alien life forms.
Right.
It was almost like he was paid by the government.
Yeah,
Like he was
paid by
one of these
Big Alien.
right? Big Alien was paying him, and it's now like that they have like Big Alien disclosure. But see now, like Big Alien disclosure from the government now is they're a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Like how
It's
dumb are
amazing
you
how
to
he
be-
doesn't talk about it anymore. He switched over into, well, let's talk about gender.
Yeah. Oh my God! Look at that. Look at Bojan. Look at that. She's a little Loki.
And that cute.
I watched it earlier today.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the fuck is happening in that show. It was the most confusing shit.
Well, did you watch the first season?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was actually really done well to trick you into where you are in the timeline because you're not supposed to be able to. There is no future or past. They tell you in the TVA, but there is. I thought the first episode was actually intriguing, which I know they're going to pull the rug from under me because it was like, oh my God, men are doing smart things. This can't be
shit.
Like, well, we'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah, I was shocked by that first episode, but it'll be WandaVision, all over again. A couple episodes might be all right, and then the next thing you know, Loki's, simping out again, and no man makes good decisions. They're either evil or, or they're neutered, like Ezra Bridger. So we'll talk about that too. But I want to finish up with this one, Aliens. I do think I really do. I think someone, because he was so Neil, I always screw his name. Neil something Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
DeGrasse. I always want to say like Degrassi High or something like that.
Sure.
He is an intelligent man, way probably smarter than me in many fields, but to be that vocal that aliens weren't real for a very long time, it's like, can we check his receipts? Because he was getting paid. Someone was paying his ass. I don't know. What do you feel about?
I don't know if even if it was just him being paid, he seems as though his arrogance kept him from being open-minded to anything outside of what he believed already to be true. Does that make sense?
Right. It just
because he has been put on this pedestal of, this is the guy to go to for space shit, know?
Right. You would think he can have, I don't know, theories though. It's like he can't do theory, and like, I don't know. He's just a jerk. I'm down with him unless he wants to come. Bye, Tina. There she is. You okay? You upset with alien talk?
No, the internet burped. I apologize.
It happens. It happens. I'm a little worried. We're getting rid of like our, the broadband type, whatever company we use. And my wife got like this Wi-Fi based T-Mobile one that works pretty good on everything else. And has like one jack, I believe, for Ethernet. So I'm going to try running it. I just pray like Monday night, it's going to be my test run. Hopefully it can handle a stream.
Well, how about you test it before then?
I will test it. I mean, yeah, that's a valid point.
It
makes more fun if I go live,
We have signal boosters like galore in the house. So if you need a consult, let me know, and Mr. Bojan, and you can chat.
Thank you, Mr. Bojan. Mr. Bojan fixes my computer. I'm gonna start a song. All right, let's just jump into it. We could do Ahsoka or Loki first. I say Loki. Let's start with Loki because it's actually like newer or closer to us in the week. Tina, I really wanted to hear your thoughts on Loki. I will not interrupt you. What did you think of episode 1? Your takeaways, stuff like
that. It was glorious, of course.
I got to stop you right there.
I didn't think I'd get past the first sentence.
I was shocked. I thought it would take like less than that, but all right.
Tina, I will grant you the fact that it did not piss me off. However, to call it glorious feels a little much.
Well, glorious purpose. Well,
I mean,
it was interesting.
If you were able to, if you really, really followed what they, the plot that they're setting down and the idea of the time slipping and what that means, because I know the time jumping kind of messes people up, but there were little parts of it I thought were great. I mean, when introducing OB's character was great.
Yeah, everybody loves Short Round. No one's gonna argue on that. And I
he's
thought
amazing.
I
He's
thought
awesome.
the best moment was Owen Wilson writing skin in the dust next to him.
Yep.
I was like,
Mhm.
I like that. That was funny.
Yeah.
That was
I
cute.
like to see that they they're trying. Okay, so a lot of people are like, oh, look, he hit the cane sculpture, and it shows that the who remains at the end, whatever his name was, can
Mhm.
be hurt. And I was like, no, that's Kang. Like, I know he's Kang, but that's the Kang, the Conqueror. That's what they were trying to show with that. But I did enjoy like the idea that he was a day-to-day CEO there. He actually ran the day-to-day for a long time and then erased everybody's memory, which is kind of crazy. Like, he erased everyone's memory. So like they've been there for, except for what's his name, Short Round in the basement. What's his Obsidian, or no, what was his name?
Obi.
Obi, or
Obi.
Boris.
Or Boris, yeah. OB in the basement seemed to be the only one that probably remembers everything, because like he wrote the book. He just remembers 400 years ago when others don't. So I found that to be like he's going to be a big key to it, but I'm scared like it'll be a woman that solves the problem, not him. You know what I mean? Like,
Agreed. I think it was wise not to have Sylvie in the episode at all, and I almost think that they shouldn't have even bothered with the post-credit scene. I think they should have just left it to, the two buddy cop and, and introducing Obi's character. And according to the folks that have seen, the first 4 episodes, it's not a spoiler at all, but they're saying that they use Obi and Casey quite well in this
Who's Casey?
season.
Casey's the kid with like the pen,
the junk drawer of
the stones from last season.
Andy?
He was the one that was like
Casey.
Are we talking about Andy from Tacoma FD?
I think that's him with the dark hair, a little bit of dark.
He's foreign,
skin.
like Hawaiian foreign?
Yeah, some type of foreign.
Yeah, that's Andy.
Okay.
From Tacoma FD.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope this show fails because we need him back on Tacoma. Whoever they replaced him with is not bringing it.
Sorry. Well, the nice thing is the two of them supposedly are fully integrated into the plot, so they have a storyline, and they're not just kind of background window dressing type characters.
Right.
But I have to admit, and this kind of throws back a little bit to our Monday night streams, but the scene between like Eliza Aaron and the one time TVA agent, when she was touching him like tenderly on his face,
yeah, that was
creepy,
weird.
Yeah, she's got that kid. She's got that kid all like psychologically warped.
Yeah.
Where do you think they were actually going?
Inappropriate. Go to HR, my man.
Yeah, no, he's fully whipped to Eliza Aaron too. Like, find yourself Renslayer.
But I think it was perfect though. She was too overly motherly to Robin Aaron, and then she was the same way with her special little TVA agent.
Weird how she plays that role well.
I know. But I thought it was cool. I do think that they're throwing all their resources at Sylvie. I fully agree.
What they did, they showed it.
I know they showed it, but it seemed like they even said like that's a lot for. But I know she's Loki and all. It just you didn't see where they went.
She knows something. She
does. Exactly.
The girlfriend, she did not finish the last season, but she watched today because we were in the middle. We were getting ready to watch something else. I was like, oh man, I forgot I got to watch this shit. Yeah. And so I put it on, and she goes, "Wait, who is that?" I'm like, "That's the female Loki." Like, she goes, "No, that's a woman."
Yeah.
What do you mean that can't be Loki? That is a woman. I'm like, look, don't ask me. Apparently, that's cool.
In Norse mythology, Loki transformed from a woman to a man often. So
cool, but that base was what?
Yeah, the man.
All right.
Loki was a female version of Loki in the comics.
We all get it. Female Loki. She's better. I just hope like we don't get like female OB. She's better, And I think also that showing him walking into that cosmic radiation is how we're going to see the Fantastic Four get their powers. Some weird way like that. In between time or some shit.
Gotcha. See, my biggest worry is we're going to find out that that Liza Aaron, because I never caught her actual name, that judge is actually the old Sylvie.
Oh, damn, she kind of looks like her as an older woman.
I mean, anything's
know.
possible when you have no fucking grounding in reality.
Right.
The job of this series is to feed into Deadpool, which is to feed into bringing the Fantastic Four and the X-Men into the MCU in order to feed into Secret Wars. So
You know, it'd be nice.
The only thing that I don't understand is they need to do something to help us get different timelines, different universes with Doctor Strange. What's what? How do those two things come together? That's my little confusion.
Don't you feel like he'll be the enemy? Because Wanda can't be the enemy anymore. I mean,
well,
Wanda
no, of course not. No. She shredded herself, you know.
Yeah.
Rumor has it Wanda is going to be an agent of Galactus when Galactus finally comes, and that's going to suck rocks. So
fuck Silver Surfer.
Yeah, we don't need Silver Surfer.
Can I just say something real quick? Because it was about, you know, this Loki show, you know, is trying to build up to bring in the Fantastic Four and the X-Men or whatever. You know, it would be nice if we could have a show that was in of itself the show rather than the show being some jumping off point for other properties or entities. Just let this be a show.
Yeah,
what's
what do
wrong
they call
with
those
that?
soft
reboots things?
No, not reboots. Like
soft launch,
soft pilot,
soft pilot. That's what it. Talking about soft. What's up, Walton?
Backdoor pilot.
Soft.
Yeah, no,
backdoors and soft. What the hell's going on?
Why are you coming in here yelling at us?
Yeah, well, he's he's not.
Sorry.
No,
am I yelling?
Dude.
And who is this grandmother's house you're in? Whose grandmother's house are you in? What?
It's not. I'm not nobody's grandmother's house. This is what I'm saying.
Who picked that mirror behind you? Is that your pick?
Being toxic.
No, I didn't do that. No, a woman picked that.
Oh, an old woman?
No, my friend that I grew up with.
I mean, let's be honest. Well, you're not exactly a young, fresh chicken.
I'm not old. Okay, no. I am not old, Mad. Right?
I mean, relatively.
In one-man show, Wanda's not going to be the Herald. The Herald is still going to be Silver Surfer. It's just that, you know, she's going to be like his sidekick kind of thing, or somebody. We're going to find out that Wanda's been manipulated by Galactus.
No, she's probably in control. It's going to be something stupid like that.
Probably,
like Galactus,
I agree.
The freaking planet destroyer eater. It's just, okay, Wanda, what do you want me to do next?
Well, I want to see how Susan Storm is the leader of the Fantastic Four. She'll
be trans.
Wallen. Yes.
Wallen, did you watch Loki?
No, I didn't get a chance to. It's the next thing I'm walking. I was actually watching one of my favorite new shows, Ahsoka. I was checking that out. So, you know, I was.
Okay, so
I mean, I don't even know why he came here.
I'd like to apologize to everybody. We'll have him back. You like Ahsoka?
Well, yeah, dude. I had a great time.
Are you serious? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Don't use your son as a shield.
Yeah, stop.
No, I'm not using that as a shield.
You do that a lot. You're like, well, my son enjoyed it.
And then we're all like,
Hey.
All right, fine.
Steven is now my bad take assistant. So
yeah.
Ahsoka's terrible, dude.
It was not terrible. It wasn't the best it could have been, but it was not terrible.
I thought it was going to be bad.
God.
I didn't realize it was going to be that bad. First of all, Rosario Dawson, who's younger than me, cannot keep up in a lightsaber. Like, her lightsaber skills are slow.
Garbage.
Dude. They're so slow, and I felt bad for the woman who played I always screw up her Morgana. You know, Bruce Lee's
granddaughter. Yeah,
dude, she's a decade older, and she was way quicker, way faster.
She was whipping some ass.
What was crazy though is when they would do a wide shot, Alex. You could actually see when the stunt double was in for her, because the back was so much more tone.
Yeah, it was like ripped. So this is my problem. Okay, and I'll tell you my problem with the whole series, but the last few episodes. Sabine started out as a bratty, doesn't listen to anybody, takes it upon herself, and she just ended that way. Ezra could have been something very interesting. He has been on a planet with a large group of the Empire, led by Thrawn, and for 9 years, and he didn't change what he's like, hey guys, what are we gonna do?
Well, not so large because his forces had dwindled.
Why did they dwindle? Do we know?
We should have got those stories. I think Ezra probably battled them, and we should have gotten those stories.
It really undermines the threat of Thrawn and his people when they had been 1.5 miles away from Ezra this entire time, but could not find him.
Right, or at least that's what we think, because we don't know.
He's good at hiding. We don't. Did you see little turtle people? Okay. Did you see? They were really cool, right? He was hiding with them, Matt.
He sensed Sabine and he took off his shell. He's like, I can't let her see me in this. And it's like, I'm sorry, watching Rebels, I've been trying to watch bits and pieces of it just to see their relationship. Like, dude, he sacrificed himself, and she literally gave a map to save Thrawn. And it's like, there was no like, hey, whatever. Hey, bucko. Hi, friend. And then Ahsoka comes. She has nothing to say. You made the decision you had to make. Like, there is no feeling. There's no reaction. There's nothing.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Because for people who weren't familiar with those characters or vaguely familiar with them, it definitely needed more. There needed to be more energy between them.
Right. People grow up too.
Needed the energy from anybody.
I mean, the guy spent a decade in pretty much by himself with these turtle people.
He's fucking these turtle people, right?
He did everything.
Probably.
Yeah, I would. Well, I mean, what? He sacrificed himself, and she selfishly wanted, gave the map so Thrawn can go back. Like, wouldn't you think he would have some feeling towards that? They show nothing, man. There's no, and if I see one more time where there's just silence and crossed arms staring at each other, like the dialogue was terrible. And George Lucas isn't the best at dialogue either.
No, but at least they didn't speak in 3-letter like spurts, and then there's a break, and then somebody else talks. I think Grant was the one that's saying that he's editing it, and throughout all these episodes, he has like 16 minutes of dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, what hooked me the most about the series was the one episode, I think it was episode 5, where you got Hayden Christensen as General Skywalker. And you got to see him and Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. That was incredible.
What hooked you was something that had nothing to do with what was happening.
Right.
No, it had everything to do with what was going on. That's Ahsoka Tano is Skywalker's
What was the lesson that she was supposed to come away from her time between worlds in worlds?
Don't be angry.
Don't be angry. Well, you figure that character is the student of Anakin who turned into Darth Vader.
Yeah, I know
there's
that.
a lot of stigma
that's not an answer saying, well, he's the student. What was the lesson?
There is a lot of stigma that she must have had as a person being his student. And then basically going through the Jedi Purge and staying alive and managing to survive. But caring as much as she did for Anakin, and then seeing how Anakin turned out. She was a very impulsive Padawan, a lot like him. Yep. And so she has this fear, or had a fear, or does, maybe still does, of becoming or succumbing to the dark side, becoming a Sith Lord. Her master became a Sith Lord. So that's something that she's had to work through.
That should have been said in the show, because leading up to it.
That's what bothers me. She didn't work through anything that wasn't explained.
And I understand that.
This is the first I've heard of her having a fear of turning to the dark side, because the show shit didn't tell me that.
You just assume. You just assume.
Well, you would through the storytelling.
Not
absolutely.
From the Ahsoka storytelling.
I've been watching. Well, like I said, that's why I said there should have been more put in to this story to give you an idea of their backgrounds, how they're thinking, how they're feeling. Because really, it seemed like this series was written for only those who had watched Rebels or who had watched Clone Wars, who knew these characters from when they first were created. So
what was the lesson
coming into it? I just told you.
What?
See, if you would let him speak, he might have actually heard the fact that Ahsoka was worried about turning into what her.
She never said that. She never even gave us that idea. We all implied that. There's nothing in there that she says, I'm scared I'm going to become a dark side user.
Within those 8 episodes? No, I don't think so. I
never saw any of that.
No, right, because
what I watched in Rebels, I didn't see any of that either. Her fear was having to fight him. having to end him and she couldn't.
Hmm.
That's what I got from Rebels. And I watched a good amount of it, and I watched all of Clone Wars because I hate when people are like, well, you don't know Filoni's. So I had to finally watch the shit.
Well, it's like, imagine like your teacher, your older brother, someone you really loved and cared about, somebody who taught you, who basically, helped you as you grew up, becoming a villain. Becoming a villain like Darth Vader. That's going to affect you. That's going to psychologically damage you. It's going to create fear within you.
Learn about that.
Yeah, and it's weird that they didn't show any of that leading up to their little world between worlds moment.
No, they should have. I mean, I think that, okay, now for me, as far as the storytelling goes, one of the reasons why she is so reserved is because of that. She's had to calm down that chaotic energy that she had.
Right, she's gotten older too, and she's more.
She's gotten older too, right? But she also lost her friends, and with Ezra, and when he went, and the whole band split up. But you're dragging around the idea that there's a possibility that you could succumb to or fall to the dark side, or that you failed your brother figure by not being there when he needed someone to balance him out when Sidious was turning him into Vader.
Right.
I think there's a lot of guilt involved in that relationship, and so that's why we see Ahsoka as so reserved as she is now.
Yep, it's just I wish
none
we
of
would
that
have
was
felt
told.
some of that. We would have I
would have as a storyteller,
right? So you added it, and I get that, but they did a shitty job showing that, and we had to have exposition with the robot, telling us why she didn't want to train Sabine, because through the whole series, I'm like, what is they just give each other looks and then arms crossed again, and
no, I get it, yeah. Well, it's not. There's not a lot of emotion. There's not a lot of emoting in that, Scott, because I think you're right. The storytelling did not give you, the idea that you're dealing with people who have gone through a lot of emotional trauma and have still worked through that. She's still working through that, and that's why she's so reserved. Didn't want to train Sabine. So
real quick, what is the difference in her before the Worlds of the World incident and after? Because all I saw was a color change.
Oh no, she opened up. She definitely opened up.
Oh, did she? She opened up.
I think a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was definitely a change in her character.
She did laugh once when Ezra.
she was more apt to treat Sabine with a little more compassion or understanding, I should say, as opposed to being very rigid. I think before that episode.
Mm. The only thing I can agree, she didn't blame her for her decision. That was the only time I could say, but I didn't see a big difference. And I watched I really watched them because I wanted to see what, okay, let's see what they're going to do with this. They could have done so much with Ezra. They could have Thrawn a moron. I'm sorry, Thrawn's supposed to be this brilliant genius, and his whole plan was
an idiot.
So that they can get in his wake and he'd be like, for the Empire.
I honestly think that he wants to commit, but is too much of a pussy to do it himself. He's like, I know, I'll just do everything possible to allow them to get real close and kill me, because nothing he did made sense.
Right. Or he'd have them dead to rights and be like, all right, everyone pull off, come back.
Honestly, I think 8 episodes wasn't enough in order to tell that story. It should have had 10 or 12.
What? No. Are you kidding? Again, 16 minutes of dialogue for the entire show. There was plenty of time to tell a story, but instead they want to do wide shots and not even risk having to actually tell a story.
Or we make those like the part where they're in the, court martial case, and really all you're doing is making, God, holy shit, I forgot the.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. That was a little ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, the Chancellor, who was one of the greatest rebellion leaders, and you make her look like a weakling. It's I feel like this show.
Mon Mothma.
Yeah, Mon Mothma. Thank you, dude. Why am I blanking on shit like that? Mon Mothma looks weak. She can't even be like, well, I think you're wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. Man yelling at me. And then you make Leia look like you have to throw Leia in there to be fix the mess instead of I don't know. It was just is this an excuse to tell us how we got to the sequels? Is this an excuse to tell us what the public, because the whole series makes the the Republic look like they're morons.
Yep.
Like, hey, there's so many Empire people, but we trust them and we don't keep it
Right.
either.
No, I get that.
Like,
I get
it's
that.
just
Yeah.
dumb, man. I wanted to like it because I like Star Wars.
They definitely needed to make the Imperial Remnant look a lot more fierce than it was. Or, the fact that it's only been so long since the Empire fell, you're going to have systems, people in place that are still loyal to the Empire. There wasn't enough fighting going on. You're right. It did make the Rebellion or the New Republic look weak.
Yeah.
Or at best incompetent. At best
incompetent. Yeah. Real quick, Riff Mangoes,
Riff?
Australian 2, from the beginning, one of our supporters. Hello, Sporking. I'm showing some support. You always do, my friend. Thank you so much. And then we also had one from Mr. Grant Gregory. Ahsoka was as bad as Loki is a wimp. Hashtag beta Loki.
Get him, Tina. Get him, Tina.
Yeah, Dungeon Master, stop apologizing for a terrible show. Mike has bad knees. Wouldn't the whole galaxy have been better off if Sabine had died when she was stabbed with the lightsaber? Yes. And then tell me this too, the ending, which it just, again, stupidity. Ezra shows up, he sneaks his way back into the galaxy. He gets on a transport ship. He's allowed to land. Okay, even though the last time that happened,
I know where you're going, but
real quick, he comes out with a helmet still on, and he doesn't say like, "Hey, Thrawn's back. Let's go kill him because he only has one ship. Let's go do this." Nope. It's just like, "Hey, everybody, I'm home."
It's worse than that because listen,
it is worse than that. I know.
When he got onto that ship, there was 2 guys there. He killed them, right?
Yep.
And then he took a ship and he went to the rebels where he knew they were. Who the fuck knows? But why was he in a stormtrooper uniform when the only 2 guys that were there he has killed, and then he gets on the ship and then leaves? What reason would he have to why?
Because that trip takes a little while, so he had to be on the ship for, we don't know exactly how long.
Okay,
but it did take them some time to.
Why did he have to fly in costume?
Well, that's the minute he flew off, he could have just take the helmet off.
Why did he have to put it on to get into the ship in the first place? He killed the 2 guys that were there.
Right, I'm with you, but he was maybe somebody walked by. Hey, John. He's like, hey.
The show didn't tell us that. I'm basing it off of what the show told me.
Again,
you're nitpicking. It was for drama.
Motherfucker, nitpicking. No, if you're doing everything for the drama, if you have to make him seem like a complete idiot for the drama, then you're doing it wrong. Because the only reason he had that uniform on is so he could do the reveal after he walked off the ship.
Right.
Because it wouldn't be as awesome if he called up, hey guys, it's me, Ezra. I'm flying in right now. So don't shoot me.
Yeah. Even that would be a shocker. It can't be Ezra. Let's go see. Blah, blah, blah. And then he lands and he looks and he has like this anger and desperation on his face. Like, I just spent a decade of my life and Thrawn is back. Like, I sacrificed what I was ready to, and I did sacrifice my life. And a decade later, Thrawn is back because someone made a selfish decision. Like, they could have really like made his character someone who like might be starting to feel.
You wanted more depth.
I want. Right, oh my god, that's kind of crazy, right? Like, I wanted depth.
Oh no, not at all. I understand.
He's an interesting character from get-go, like someone taught after Order 66, a powerful Jedi. Becoming a Jedi, able to build his own lightsabers. This will be his 3rd. He went from blue, green, blue, even though I think it should have stayed green anyways. But like, he is a character that sacrificed everything. And even though he couldn't relate and understand why his friend did it, there had to be like, they could have shown something in him. Like, why did I do this? What was the point if everything now is he's back?
You're right. I think Scotty, you're right. You're absolutely right. I believe that.
I guess it seems like Scotty does know.
Yeah. I just was hoping, and the Anakin stuff was just like, it was cool to see him, but it was like, remember Anakin? Like, he was awesome. Like,
I
get a huge
I love
smile.
Anakin Skywalker.
I do too. He must, like, their battle, he was the one like making it look awesome. You know what I mean? Like, Hayden Christensen has done a great job at not redeeming himself, but making people who didn't feel like he was the right choice, like myself. I didn't think he was, when they announced him back in the day as Anakin Skywalker, I wanted this other dude to get the part. They were like up for the final.
I had always blamed it on the George Lucas being unable to direct humans.
Right, because he is a very good actor, the kid.
Yes.
The kid's a very good actor.
You ever seen
and
Jumper?
You can see it. Yeah, Jumper.
Jumper's
Okay.
it's a good movie.
Soul has
Yeah,
a question.
I wish I could jump. Sport, did you all see that dude TikTok video where he's spurging out?
Spurging.
Oh, spooging. We'll say spooging out over Ahsoka. No, but please send it to us. Send it to us so we can watch it.
Because I'd like to see that.
What was that one? The Drinkers video on this farce was great. The Drinkers always. Dude,
I haven't seen that yet.
Very thought out. He makes you think. I'll watch it after this.
Yes. One of the best YouTubers out there.
He is, and he probably thinks a lot.
Oh, that is a good one to TARDIS.
Because I'm pretty amazing.
If Walton wants to have honest opinion about the show, that's right. Thank you, CJ. Thank you.
No,
I'm happy.
No. I'm not saying his opinion isn't honest. I'm saying his opinion is shit.
Yeah. It's wrong. That's how we grow. That's how we go, man. No, green is supposed to be for people that are more in the living force. Who Ezra definitely is more now than ever using the living force. I believe.
Blue is for something. Purple is for pimps.
Yeah, and no offense to Star Wars Theory, because I do like him. But he wants, they wanted to love the show. And I get that. I did too. But, I'm more quickly to be like, this is fuck.
So the problem, one of the biggest problems I have with the show, which you guys were right, was the choreography with Ahsoka's fight scenes. Because, if you look at Ahsoka Clone Wars, Ahsoka Rebels, she's all over the place. She's a dual wielder, all offense. And that's one thing that I was a little disappointed in. With the show, and
trained her a little harder, the
act Rosario looks good.
She looks the part. I'm saying,
for her age,
the fighting skill. I wish, they helped her or got a really good double. Because Ahsoka is a badass sword fighter.
I think maybe perhaps they were being a little too reserved, maybe.
That's what it was. They were like, guys, we shouldn't make it look too awesome. Let's hold back a little bit.
Let's go Alec McGinnis, Obi-Wan, not,
Alec McGinnis, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, let's go that style. More samurai, more samurai version.
You guys, we totally can make this look amazing and badass, but let's not.
Yeah. All right,
let's make it look mid.
Soul is blue.
At best.
Okay. Blue is for Jedi Guardians. Yellow is for Jedi Sentinels. Okay, so I thought they also had to do green. You're pouring into your kyber crystal, right? Aren't you the one that makes that color? We had a discussion about this, and I thought it was more green is the living force.
That's what I thought too.
Right. It's like how dark side user corrupts
this also feels right.
Yeah, it does feel. It sounds right. I don't know. I like the movies. Pink is for. White is for. Ahsoka is badass. All right, let's see what this guy had to say. TikTok.
What in the hell?
All right, just stop. Can we turn this dude down?
Is he going to yell a lot? Is he like me?
Yeah, he just jumps off yelling.
If the finale for Ahsoka was going shitty, why even release it? Thrawn has to be one of the worst villains of all time. He
said if it was going to be shitty finale, why did you release it? He's angry. Okay,
he's upset, mad. He's in his feet.
He's not this upset.
Soul Assassin deserves what he wants, and if he says I'm going to show it, he's here every week being a great moderator. Thank you.
Thrawn has to be one of the worst villains of all time. His plans failed every single time, and he tried to come up with a new plan, and it still didn't work.
True.
But he kept trying. And just because he got away, he wants to act like he won. What a fucking idiot. And are there no choreographers for Star Wars anymore? Ahsoka and all of them were just standing there deflecting bullets in the slowest motion of all time. They look like fucking...
True.
That's true, 100% true.
And then when they're fighting Ahsoka and... the other broad, the witch, they all just stand around 3 o'clock high. Like 3 o'clock high, this is a great fight. Not hey, wait a minute, her back's to me. Let me kill her. You know, like it was. I love the setup for that too.
Sloths! And since when did Star Wars turn into The Walking Dead? Zombie stormtroopers? Witches? Magic? Bro, what the fuck is happening to Star Wars?
That's been a part of Star Wars, dumbass.
It is.
That's a part of Star Wars, you dumbass. This dude doesn't even know what he's talking about. You don't know about the Witches of Dathomir? Get the fuck out of here. You have never read a fucking book in your life. Go back, watch the original trilogy, masturbate, and eat some Jello. All right, buddy? Because you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Masturbate?
Because he's loving the sound of his own voice.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the Witches of Dathomir, they're a big part of what used to be
the Force Witches,
canon.
And there's also
Filoni
other creatures who use the Force. There's also other creatures that use the Force that are not Jedi. Right? This is not a thing that is only Jedi or Sith, you dumbass. It's been a part of the world.
The Force is the Force.
Yes,
they're
using magic. They're using magic, not the Force.
But magic, but magic in that universe is part of the Force. It is something that they use through the Force. That's what magic is. Magic is using life force and manipulating life force.
Corrupting it to the dark side?
Yeah, well, not corrupting it to the dark side, but if you look at magic or the Force, the Force is not good. All right, the Force is what it is. You use the Force. The person using it determines whether or not you're using it for benevolent or malevolent means.
But that's different than the magic they're using. They're using magic.
It's not different than the magic that they're using. They're using the Force in a way that is not you. The Jedi and the Sith don't use it.
Right.
It's a different way of manipulating that energy field.
Now,
it is the Force.
Now, I know that Lucas has recently has come out to say if you are using the dark side of the Force, you actually are you are corrupting the Force. So it is more of a light-based thing than a neutral thing.
I don't think it is.
That's
I mean,
the way
I wouldn't think
it is. He states it.
All right. Well, if Lucas says it, then it's his world. It's his universe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Who are we to know?
Mm.
Mace Windu, motherfucker.
Able to use the Force when she really needed it. More cliche bullshit. We got no Balin in this episode. We had no Shin whatsoever. They just showed up at the end of the episode and did absolutely nothing. I guess Disney is going to give him a spinoff too.
Well, what? Okay, the dude's dead, bro. Jesus. Now, do you think they'll recast him? Because I feel like his part is very important.
We were talking about this on Rogue, and so what the census was: don't recast him.
Jesus Christ! Are we going to do the Black Panther thing again? You have.
You have to. That was a great character. It's a shame that we lost that actor. It was a good.
It was a great character. It was a great actor.
It's a great actor.
There's a difference.
Yep. He's a great actor. He did with that role better than probably someone else. But you're going to have to replace him because I feel like that was supposed to be a big part of Ahsoka and Sabine's life on that planet.
It was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean it's. I hope to recast him, but I don't know. It's a loss.
The witch's force powers are fucking up your internet right now.
We did it. People were so sensitive about Black Panther, but you should have recasted for that too. The character. You're honoring that actor by extending that character. You know what I mean? Like if Dumbledore, we would never have gotten more than 2 movies? 2 or 3? Two movies if we didn't recast Dumbledore. Like it has to happen sometimes, no matter how iconic the person makes it. Like if that story's not over, you don't ruin where you were supposed to go on this journey. Like recast out of respect. That's the way I see it. All right, let's see how this guy finishes off knowing all about Star Wars.
And seeing Hayden Christensen is always great, but this was just forced. This was a dumb, boring, underwhelming finale. I cannot believe Disney actually put this out.
Oh, wow.
What?
He was
He is upset.
He is upset.
He's upset.
Right.
The CJA for $2 for Californian.
He's in his fifis, mad.
Fifis. We're Night Sisters from Milky Way. Yeah, he said that too. Or are they from Earth? I don't know what galaxy far, far away it was.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have that lore logged in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was enjoying the Night
Sisters.
Sisters.
$2, bro.
And
Yeah,
I
it
always
was
enjoyed the
just
nice.
cool.
Well, it was just a different take, a different part of that universe. Bad guys that weren't just, your Sith wielding lightsabers.
Yeah, Maul.
Um,
Maul was a
yeah,
he was
Maul
a
was from
child of the
Dathomir.
Night Sister, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yes,
let
I
me-
will.
I'll,
If I will do it for you, awesome one.
yes, and
But I
I'll
don't,
write it.
That's right.
Well, really, Script Doctor will write it,
And we
I'll
will
take
send-
credit.
No, we're not script doc. No, because we're going to write it, and then we're going to send it to Mad so that he can yell at us for how bad it is, and then we'll
Yes.
change it.
And we'll change
That sounds
just
perfect
a
for me.
few things, and whatever he hates the most, we'll keep in. Like the woman saves the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Right.
think that would be great.
And if
That'd be
Tina
great.
approves it, we know it's a bad take.
We need more of this series. We need more of the series. What does Grant say too? Filoni said it's.
I can't wait for the
dark
next
magic,
season.
Not the Force. Oh, Filoni said it's dark magic.
Oh, Filoni. I don't
Huh.
care what Filoni says.
What the fuck,
I don't-
motherfucker?
I don't care
Yeah,
what the Filoni
book,
says.
in the books it was a corruption, but that's not
Right.
canon. Because what Filoni does is now he cherry picks things from the EU and uses it, and he doesn't use it the way he probably should have been. But
And that's the
Filoni-
thing, right? And they could have, we've said this for how many years now? They could have said, all right, we're going to make this Legends, but we're going to adapt a newer version of the EU, into something better. We should have gotten the Thrawn series, and we should have gotten a lot of the stories that were supposed to come after Return of the Jedi. They could have made it Legends, and they could have adapted it properly. They could have made some changes, and people would have been upset either way. You know what I mean? Like and fans are very passionate about the things
Right.
that they love. So some fans are going to be upset no matter what the representation is. But taking it in the direction that they did, Disney created a lot of bad faith when they with that Disney trilogy. I don't even call it a sequel trilogy, the Disney trilogy.
Right.
They create a lot of bad faith with that, and especially with your story group, your writers, your comic artists attacking fans and blaming fans. We went through that for years. So the way that I see it is, a lot of the people that are attacking things like Ahsoka, like that don't like, not attacking it, but just like giving their opinions that they don't like it. Like I understand because really we come from an era of Disney is shit.
Right.
They've been attacking us for years, and they didn't. They're like you said, they're cherry picking from the EU, and then not even doing it properly, not even giving us good stories from it. And that's on them. It's just I look at something like this, which is attached to, I guess, the end of the Lucas era, beginning of Disney era, when things kind of still look like Star Wars a little bit, and it brings me back to that time. I like seeing the continuation of those characters. I do have issues with the show, but this is not as bad as the sequel trilogy. This is not as bad as Solo. This is not as bad as things that we have been given in the past. No way. It is not as bad.
do. I think it's. I don't think it's good. It's a different bad, maybe. Yeah,
A different bad. I'll take that. I'll take a different bad.
It's just not
Okay.
good. It's
Okay.
it's trying, and it's also trying to justify what happened in the sequel. That's what I can't stand.
Right.
Like
Well, whereas
people look dumb.
Whereas I'm hoping, like, really, my hope has been since the announcement of Ahsoka and bringing the Rebels, the World Between Worlds in, which really shouldn't even be around. It shouldn't even be there, but that can change the timeline and just erase the sequel trilogy. Just erase it.
Not in that.
They're
and we were
not
hoping
gonna
for
do
but
that.
They're not.
They really need to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. No, you're right. But Grant wants you to answer. What was the lesson Ahsoka learned in that World Between Worlds moment without using your own headcanon? What did she learn?
It wasn't even my own headcanon. It's just, this is the way the character thinks. She had to come to terms with losing her master, what her master became, what that could possibly mean for her. That's like a brother figure. That was, kind of like the way Obi-Wan and Anakin were. They kind of had a brother relationship. But you also had kind of a brother-sister relationship with those two characters. She had to come to terms with that. That had been something that had been.
Okay. And we were supposed to get all of that because she changed to all white.
You absolutely should. No, and forget about the all white thing. Why are you people concentrating on that? She changed her
because it's
outfit.
the only thing visually or that was said for us to know that there was now a change.
It was not the only thing. If you
Okay, what
looked
was
at her
the other thing?
mannerisms,
Her
if you look at her
mannerisms.
mannerisms,
Oh, she doesn't cross her arms anymore?
Jesus Christ.
She did say something to the effect that I don't have to kill you. That's the only thing I got from it. When he's like, you haven't learned yet. This is life or death. And then she gets him in a position where he literally let her because he was destroying her.
Her attitude towards Sabine lightened up considerably, as opposed to how she was toward her before that, and creating a master-student relationship.
And see, she's not as mean to her anymore. That means that she learned this lesson.
Well, so there was a level of peace. There was a peace that was gained from that experience within her. And I mean, and that was represented. Okay, keep bringing up the outfit. That could be also garnered from her in the later clothes, but it was in the way that she approached Sabine from that point moving forward with a little bit more understanding, because of that experience.
God, I wish we got that in some type of dialogue.
Yeah, I wish
the
show would have told us any of that.
Just a little bit, because it's like it just, I don't know, man. Because we all can watch something and see it differently.
Absolutely.
And it's their job as creators and writers and directors to give us the story they want us to know. And it's like we all have to fill in the pieces because there's little said throughout this whole series, which is like,
yeah, I understand that.
It's rough, man. It was rough. They also defined an era how Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie will change the franchise.
Well, that's a little bit too much.
Screen Rant, baby. Molly Brazil. Dave Filoni has shared about the importance of a film defining an era, hinting towards how his Mandalorian movie will change the Star Wars franchise. So he's doing a Mandoverse. So the summary of this whole thing is Dave Filoni's upcoming Star Wars movie set in the Mandalorian era will have a defining moment that changes the course of the franchise, similar to Luke Skywalker blowing up the Death Star in A New Hope.
Listen, when the fuck was the Mandalorian era?
Right at 5 years.
Post Return of the Jedi?
Yeah. After
Close 5 years, I think.
Wait, what? When was it?
I'm thinking it's about 5 years after ROTJ.
Well, Mando 1 is 5 years. We're about 10 years now. So 5 to 10 years.
The Mandalorian era. Oh.
After the last Return of the Jedi. After the last of the original movies.
Well, how can it change the course of the franchise if the franchise has 3 movies after that?
I know. That's what I was wondering. Like, how does it change? Does it define it? You know, it doesn't change the course. It may define why.
It can't change the course of a franchise that has already had 3 movies.
I understand that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm agreeing with you. It makes no sense. All it can do is justify what they did in those 3 movies.
Attempt to justify, which is it's unjustifiable. There's no way to. You're filling in the gaps.
Well, and I wish you would put as much effort that you do into defending this shit into killing that cricket.
I had to go outside for a smoke, okay?
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Crickets are beautiful. Point 2, Filoni emphasizes the importance of characters coming together for this defining moment, suggesting that a team up of heroes like Din Djarin and Ahsoka Tano may be involved. Why have we never heard this of the history? Like, that would be something like maybe the kids would have known because it's closer to their era in the sequels because they thought Luke Skywalker was a myth, right? 30 years later. Just 30 years.
I'm not watching this movie unless Cara Dune is in it.
Right?
You're right.
Yeah. Also, the fall of Coruscant could be the major event that occurs in Filoni's movie, leading to the change in the capital of the New Republic and tying in with the return of Grand Admiral Thrawn.
What the fuck does it matter? The New Republic gets destroyed right after this.
Yeah.
You're not changing the course of shit.
No, yeah, that's bad wording. You're not changing it. I just think he's going to try and not succeed at making us all go, you know what? The sequel movies make sense now.
No, going back to what you had said earlier about this Ahsoka series making the New Republic look dumb. The same thing led up to the destruction of the New Republic in Force Awakens. Like they were inept. And so you're just going to flush out how inept they are and how bad.
Like they learn no lessons.
How
Steven. They learned no lessons. Like
how
the Jedi became, they became too involved in the government. They forgot what they really were there for. That we could understand that. But this is like you learned nothing after winning this rebellion. You learned nothing.
Mhm.
It's
they became legends. Read those books.
how can you have a team up of Ahsoka, Din Djarin, Baby Yoda, and the rest of them and not have Luke? Luke is the pivotal character, the pivotal at this time. This is the height of Luke being Luke.
Right.
And you're like, but nobody went and told him about this shit, so he didn't know. What?
Right. And
nobody thought to go get Luke?
Yeah, let's see what he actually said when he's speaking to Empire. To me, a theatrical experience has to have a big idea, monumental moment in the time period that changes what's happening. What Tony has done in Andor and what we did in Rebels, everything then changes when Luke blows up the Death Star. Oh my God. They're taking credit for, it actually, it then changes when Luke, it was us that really got that moment going because, George didn't do a good enough job explaining it. You're looking for those moments that define an era, and that's what the film really should be about, whether it's characters coming together or defining moments. And Luke building up the new Jedi Temple would know nothing about what's going on. Thrawn coming back, Luke's going to be like, and I'm just chilling on my Jedi Temple. It's so dumb.
It is. It's such a lost opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
The entire. It's sad.
What they
worse? Should be. Go ahead,
real quick, because what's worse is that we know Princess Leia knows this whole threat because she's covering for green chick with a big ass and the rest of them. She never thought, hey, man, if only I knew somebody that was very powerful and could help with this threat, this intimate threat that is coming for us. Oh, well, don't know anyone like that.
Right. If anything, you have to recast
Luke.
Leia and Luke.
Yes.
They're involved in this movie. You have to.
Yeah. And if you're going to do that, let's go further and actually, give us some good Star Wars that involve the main characters from the first trilogy.
Yep.
I'm tired of I don't like Filoni personally. I like some of his creations, but this isn't his universe. This is Lucas's universe, and those characters were the original team. We should be putting more emphasis on them and the continuation of their story than looking for other characters that are made up by very uncreative people who don't give a damn. That's all we've gotten. So it's like I understand all the hate, like all the anger and animosity, which I think spills over when some things are decent, but still, you're right. I think you're reading this correctly. They're trying to give credit to characters that George was not involved with, for things that he created, a story that he made.
Yeah, they're not. You know what it is, dude? They're not living within the world that George created. Filoni reaches out and changes things so it works for his story without working within the confines of what George built. Like there are times where you can expand it a bit, but he's not expanding it. He's trying to justify what he's doing. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Justify what he's doing, or justify what Kathleen Kennedy has allowed to be directed within, Disney Star Wars, which is crap. It is universally failed. And it's aside from like a few people picking up some Baby Yoda toys, what has been achieved? What money has been gained? How has this universe been expanded? How has the fandom been expanded? How has anything been generated from the treat of this lore by Disney or Kennedy? It hasn't.
They've done terrible.
And so until there is at least recognition of that, which you're never going to get, they're never wrong. You're going to continue to have this cycle of animosity from fans. And it's not going to age out, Disney. It's not going to age out, right? Like 20 years from now, what's crap is still going to be crap. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're getting a little robotic. It's okay. You're just getting a little robotic sounding.
Yeah, even your computer thinks you're wrong.
Yeah, it does. Look at this right here. The fall. Read this line. The fall. This is what this writer put, and then we'll read Zach's. The fall of Coruscant would be a perfect moment for the Filoni for Filoni to show in his movie, but no matter what he puts on the big screen, his film will change Star Wars and the Mandalorian era, and likely for the better. What?
What does that even? What does any of that mean?
It means Filoni's going to make Star Wars better. He's going to change it because Star Wars in general and the Mandalorian era for better. It's going to teach us. It's going to show that George couldn't have made it better.
Is Filoni trying to make Star Wars great again?
This is what I'm reading. I'm reading that, if he used Fall of Coruscant, it would be perfect for a movie. But even if he doesn't do that, whatever he does, it will make everything better.
Yes.
What?
That's what I'm reading too.
I have two
balls out of your mouth,
comments.
bro.
I have two short comments. One, I don't want to insult Miss Bizzle or a Screen Rant, but I swear that article was written by AI because it said the same thing 14 times.
Did it really?
About the fact that it's going to change the course of blah blah blah.
Oh my god,
that wording, it was just in almost every paragraph.
Yep.
And then the other thing is, I'm old and I forgot. So
that's great. Jump in anytime. Feel free, just jump in, and I will make sure everybody shuts up for you. Brightest Day, what's up, brother? Zach says Filoni is fixing George's universe for a modern audience.
I think the problem is because they didn't earn any of this. They didn't earn the success of Star Wars. They just inherited it, which means they have no actual connection to it or drive to preserve the greatness of it because they didn't earn it. You know?
In their minds, Kathleen Kennedy and definitely Filoni, it's like they were under George. George left. And instead of being inspired by what he did and respecting the man for his vision, it's almost like now they're saying, now that he's gone, I can finally speak my truth because I know I could do this better than him. That's what I got. That's what I got. And for all purposes, I don't care how you feel about Ahsoka, the series, it has failed over the whole Disney experience. The whole thing has failed.
I agree.
We are looking. And I love you, Walton, because you are looking for something good in Star Wars. But really, man, if you step back and really look at what they're giving us, it's a crock of shit.
Altogether, yeah. I agree.
It is, and it's sad. It's freaking sad. Thrawn looked inept. For a man who calculates everything, he looked inept. He sacrificed troops that have been with him for 9 years. I know they can come back, but they left some of them out there to destroy, the Jedi because he had a great idea. Like one Jedi can come back and screw up everything. But yet he gave up on that opportunity multiple times and then made it seem like he was so genius when he's like leaving and left them in the wake. Like that was his plan the whole time. It makes no sense.
His priority was to get back. Right. That was his priority.
I get that.
So any other plan is a subplot. Any other plan is just a deviation from getting home. And so like that's how I looked at it.
So you call bombers in and then land troops instead of bomb the shit out of them, kill them and go back. Like it's just the planning
that might have been a better idea. Okay, that's a better idea.
You know what I'm saying? He called two bombers in, but they somehow were bombers/transport troops, and instead of just destroying them, he was like, all right, let's go, guys. Come back. Like it just.
Well, I think wasn't that what he was trying to make up time or trying to keep them occupied?
Yeah.
While they were getting the ship ready for transport.
Yeah, occupied. That makes no sense. Like I'll leave them occupied just to give them just enough time, so I can be like.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Smarter than that. You know what I mean? He's just smarter than that. From what I've seen of him in the shows and what I hear about the books. I'm going to start reading the Thrawn trilogy because I really want to see how he was meant to be,
Yeah, Iron Wolf, you're dead on, bro. Ryan says that's a good comment right there. I don't think he trashed the saga with the prequels. I'm a prequel defender. I love the prequels, but it did change enough. And you're right. The first Phantom Menace in 1999 to 2006, they had a lot to do with George just getting tired of wanting to even do anything and selling the franchise to Disney. So I mean, that's what I said. That's the power of fans. Like we can direct or redirect a franchise if we so choose. But where's it going to end up? If you keep complaining instead of looking at something that may be good that comes from an era or in a period of creation, what you might get next will be worse. The prequel fan and the people who were against the prequels when they came out, who had big problem with the episodes 1, 2, and 3. Mm-hmm. Actually enacted George saying "F this, I'm selling it to Disney," and then look what we got.
Yeah, well,
prequels are not that bad.
I think $4 billion helped with that.
Well, absolutely,
and his life in general at that time.
4.05 billion.
Yeah, yes, and also his life was a mess at that time. I'm not saying.
Well, he's a 65-year-old having a kid.
Right. I'm not saying people didn't push that. Because I didn't love the prequels, but I didn't trash George because of it. I said that was a bad decision. This wasn't very good. I know they did, but that's, again, now it's our fault that we're getting shitty. It's our fault.
No, I'm not saying it's our fault.
That's
it's
what people have been
fault.
telling the newer Phantom Menace. It was our fault. We were going to get shittier stuff. So you can't use that now against people that still think it's trash. It is trash, man. And I love you. And a lot of it is trash. I don't hate that people want to like it. I just can't I can't fathom it because I want to like look.
Okay, you know it's like this. Yeah. You know what it's like? It's like being starved, right? So it's not this situation. Like I was thinking about this because I knew that I'd be when I was talking about the fact that I actually liked something that Disney Star Wars put out that I was going to get. I was going to have these conversations. Mm-hmm. So it's not like Picard season 3, right? So Picard season 3, I love.
Yeah,
I love it because there was a lot of course corrections that were done. There was also recognition of how bad Kurtzman Trek had been through the act through the story. Yeah. But they also had to recognize that's the world they exist in. I look at Picard season 3 as original Trek, at least what I consider original Trek, inside Kurtzman verse, like confused and like what the hell's going on. Right. So I love Picard season 3. Mm-hmm. Ahsoka is, oh, that's awesome, I got to see this, or oh, that's cool, I get to see this character on screen, or I get to see Hayden Christensen again. Like it's cool to me. It's not great. That.
To me, it's not great. They tricked me. To me, they're trying to trick me.
Yeah, you literally are describing keys dangling.
Yeah.
What is that?
Keys dangling. I feel the same way. It's almost like memorabilia. Like throw Hayden in because people love Hayden. Throw him in. And
I think Hayden has a lot to do with that character. Like I'm sorry, that's his student. That's Anakin Skywalker's student.
Yes, but you throw him in because people love him.
Absolutely, why not?
Yes, I'm not disagreeing. But what did he really do? I'm fine with him at the end. I actually thought that was kind of cool that Sabine was like she sensed him but didn't know if she did, so she didn't say anything. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, I'm not going to lie. There was moments where I was like, oh God, that could have been better, but okay. But overall, the story, the treatment of the characters, there was no life in the characters. There was no feeling. There was no emotion. There was no Luke losing his shit in Return of the Jedi and almost killing his father. And then when he saw his hand cut off, realizing, look at my hand. I'm going to become this.
Right.
If I strike my father down.
If that was made today, he would have went, oh my God, I am like you. My hand is robotic like yours. They would spell it. They would literally have to tell you. Also, I'm the opposite of this because I did not care for the prequels. The first one, second one, or really even the third one. But now after seeing Disney, I have so much more appreciation for the prequels than I ever did before. I actually enjoy them, watching them now far more than I did when they first came out.
Better storytelling, better heart. It had heart. It had more heart.
I'm also like I enjoy playing video games. So like the games, when I was growing up, I played the Star Wars games, but when we got to the prequel era, we had like the Clone War, games. I love those games. I love the stories in those games.
The Obi-Wan game was legit good. on the
It was
original
legit.
Xbox.
Dude, the Return of the Jedi was also really good.
Yeah,
I look at
Yep.
I look at no, it's okay. What Iron Wolf just said here, he said the prequels aren't aging as well as the OT. Well, ain't nothing going to age as well as Empire Strikes Back, which is probably one of the absolute best films ever created.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, no, I go back and I look at the Clone Wars. I have a lot of fun with that, especially Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith, one of my favorite all-time movies.
Yeah.
But even your worst, like I will enjoy the Phantom Menace. All right, I can enjoy that film more than 99.8% of the stuff Disney puts out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's like pretty much the worst Star Wars film.
It is. It's
because,
not good. Well, not
it was. Yes.
Of George.
It was because of you're right, because of the storytelling, the heart, the attention that's put into it. Okay, it was a bad movie, but it's still, you could see the effort that was put into that film. The love into that universe. You don't get that from Disney Star Wars. You get people's projection of people's attitudes, insecurities, and wants. That's what you get in Disney Star Wars,
and their message.
Their message, right? And that's not what I want to hear. It's supposed to be a universal tale. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
The problem with the prequels was George had too many yes men around him, and he didn't have people saying, "Dude, don't direct. No, that's not a good idea."
Well, and I also think George was also looking to bring in the next generation, especially with the Phantom Menace. He was trying to bring in the kids. He wanted you to bring your little kids to it, and that's why he had young Annie and Jar Jar Binks.
But here's something you don't see from Disney though. He actually learned from that and started cutting back on the Misa, dude, not in this movie as much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
When Disney's like, no, we're gonna keep doubling down.
I saw New Hope as a kid, and you had burnt, Uncle Owen, like they were burnt to a crisp.
Right.
Okay? Like,
I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan did that though to get
I love
I'm just sick of this shit.
Scotty, I love the New Hope so much. I'd watch the Spanish version because I knew every line. I was like, I just want to see it different, because it was such a good movie.
I got you. And my biggest, like, I know you are a huge fan of the third movie, but the only reason I like it. Don't get me wrong, I do. I like it. The one thing that it just missed on is showing me like the turn from Jedi to Sith should have been more turbulent in his mind.
It was like so quick.
It was quick. It was really quick, and it was just like, shit, I want her to live.
He killed one youngling, and he was full Sith. I mean, it would take at least, a class of younglings. Give me like 12 before you go full bad.
Well, first off,
maybe in my mind. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say quickly, but maybe in my mind, I'm wrong, and the turn to the dark side is like that. Maybe I am wrong, but like I wanted to see more pain from Christian Haydenson's character. Go ahead.
I absolutely, and I think you're right. I absolutely did want to see more Vader. That's my one complaint about Revenge of the Sith. Should have had more Vader. And you're right. Mad, I just want to mention, he did cut off a pimp hand. Like he did, and that may have been it. When he cut that pimp hand off,
like the quickness,
that was the fault. That was the fault. Yeah. But you're right. His fall was drastic as soon as it happened. He fell right into that. Then the guy, and you're right. Maybe George was trying to say the fall to the dark side can happen in a moment and happens quickly, and that's it. You're fully invested in it.
Yep, but it takes one action, and then led up to it, but one action. It's almost like an addict.
I think you should have a three youngling buffer before you go full dark.
At least three. Yeah,
at least three.
Yeah. I mean, he did kill a lot of younglings. I mean, he went in the temple and took them out.
Right, but that was after he had already gone full, full.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I guess you're right.
I wish when he turned to Vader, like kneel, and rise, Lord Vader. I wish the character changed, like his mentality, like not the part where you don't know my powers. When he tries to jump, when he's like, I have the high ground. I wish we saw the actual change from Anakin Skywalker's dad.
You will try.
And Vader is like. I want to see that, like he just talks in a way like I'm going to destroy you. It's not like a whiny teenager anymore. I am Vader. That's it. Like those are my complaints, but I don't hate those movies. The stuff they're doing now is the message, and it's there's no character build. There's no like 10 years later, Ezra's just chilling and he's happy and he's all good and he's not, hey, you get Sabine, you're giving Thrawn a chance, whatever. Yeah, woo. Like, there was no repercussion for anything anybody did in that series. No repercussion. Thrawn's back, but what is that? We don't know until next season, I guess. But
it lacked depth.
Yeah, like the repercussion was, we end up on this planet, but no one seems upset. Like, hey, this is our life now. Woo! Let's hang out with the turtles. Any hot dates?
Dig it. Stop ruining this for me, Scotty. You're bringing up good points.
I'm sorry, man. CJH, once again, for another 5. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. The channel needs it, so thank you. If you were served shit and then given a KFC, you'll enjoy the KFC if you were served shit on a plate for a while. Sequels were trash, then given chicken.
Yeah, CJ, you're dead on, bro. Wait, I was trying to say that earlier.
No, hold on. What's the chicken in this scenario?
Ahsoka.
That,
I guess is what she's saying.
That is not
it's
chicken.
Chicken flavored shit. Chicken flavored shit. Small Time says Anakin was already turning to the dark side in Attack of the Clones.
Before we get to that, though, I want to get back to the analogy, though, because in this reality, what's happening is you're getting served shit, and then you're getting served more shit, and eventually you're like, man, I can't just keep eating shit. I got to convince myself that at some point this tastes good.
Yeah, that's better. This shit is chicken, but it's not. It's shit.
Yeah, you know, you're part of the Lost Boys and Never Ever Land or whatever the fuck ever, and you're imagining eating because you're a starving homeless kid.
Yeah,
I am hungry.
Yeah,
that's a Peter Pan reference.
You should be full of shit now, my friend. Now, Anakin doesn't kill the Tusken Raiders until the 3rd movie, correct?
No,
that's second.
It is the end of the 2nd movie?
Yeah, but there were Tuskens. I mean, they don't count as people.
They deserved it. You know, they deserved it. No, you're right. He started turning. Small Time's right. Started turning. I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, he started to turn, but I didn't feel that. I felt more inner turmoil in the Clone Wars, Anakin Skywalker, than I did between those movies.
I don't know. I don't think it should even count until he killed the little white kid. Then you're like, oh no. You know,
right?
He gives a fuck about the Tusken Raiders and shit.
Master Anakin. Wait a minute. I'm a white boy. Kill Reva. Kill Reva.
I tried
that bitch. She could take a hit. Oh, man. Tina, how are you feeling?
I'm doing very, very well. I just didn't watch the Ahsoka series past, like I said, partway through the first episodes. I didn't watch Rebels, so I didn't understand what was going on. And there was so much more other television that Mr. Bowden and I ended up watching instead of taking the time to watch this. So, like, for example, loving The Continental. I hadn't seen a single John Wick movie before The Continental came out. We sat down, watched The Continental and the first 2 episodes, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing the last one tomorrow.
I'm so pissed because I don't have. What's that? Peacock?
Wait, what are you watching?
Continental. I've been wanting to watch it. We just didn't renew Peacock right as that started. I was like, oh shit. So
I got halfway through the first episode. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm good.
I feel like from the trailer it looked good. But
Scotty, I'll send you a website.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
DM me later. I can probably, float you a login if you.
There you go.
I'll abuse the shit out of it. No, just kidding. And that's kind of funny because you are a fan of John Wick. You haven't seen John Wick, so you're seeing it from someone who doesn't know the world of John Wick and who the character was in the movies, and you're enjoying it. I wonder, if that makes a big difference.
I did see the first movie.
You need to see it then. That's what.
Right. Yeah, I watched the first movie, and then I didn't see 2 through 4 because can't remember who else told me that it was really going to be okay. I think it was Slender that said, hey, as long as you see the first movie, you're fine. Because you have to at least have a basis for why you care about, the Continental.
Yeah.
Which totally understand. And I appreciate that because you're right. I don't think I could have gotten into the series as much if I didn't. And I'm told that because there's a lot of people that were complaining that, the second episode was a little slow. They're bringing all these other characters, blah, blah, blah. But then both Brommable and Little Chad said the the third episode pays off. So just keep going.
So it was a build up to the next episode.
It was a build up, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes you have to have that. Sometimes you have to have that.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it, and I'm not a big like fight 'em up type movie. Like I don't watch any of the martial arts movies with Mr. Bojan at all. It's not kind of my thing, and I really enjoyed the series.
Yeah, that's awesome. And real quick before we get out of the Star Wars world, because I'm going to show something else real fast. You're right, Andor. I watched it. At least the character, like you felt his mistrust of everybody, and the things he's done, and like just that you get more. That's what I'm talking about. Depth of the character, not just I'm a spy and I get away with it. Like it's a depth of a character. That's what Andor did have. That it was a slow burn, but at least you got something from the characters. Yeah. So I want to add this one. This is going to be fun. This is from TikTok. So I'll set you up with it. This is a women's conference. It's one of the biggest.
Love it.
Tina, do you know this conference? It's what's the name of it again? I just had it.
I forgot
Grace
the name.
Hopper? Grace Hopper or something like that.
Yes, Grace Hopper was. If I remember correctly, my computer science lore, she was the one who found the first bug in the computer program, because it was literally a bug in between like sensors or whatever in a computer that prevented a program from actually running. So it was
just like really a woman cleaning up bugs. See that?
Exactly. So I'm aware of the conference. I've never been myself, but it used to be a pretty big deal, especially when when I was still in school.
And it's still considered like the women's event where you can meet recruiters in the field of technology and find jobs for women. But some guys found a loophole, and I like it. So hold on, I'll turn it back up. It's up.
Right? Yeah, I'd like to go.
The career conference for females in tech was taken over by male attendees.
They were there just purely for the career fair.
Social media clips filmed at the Grace Hopper, the world's largest gathering of women technologists, show men standing in line to meet with recruiters.
This is a space for women in tech. This is one of those few limited resources that isn't for you, it's for us.
I would love to see that young lady's, like profile, and if she has like she, her, and like she, follows, because I have a feeling a lot of these women support the gender ideology, like thing
100%.
Going on today, and now it's
they're victims.
Yeah,
well, now,
victims.
but it's affecting them now, so it's different.
Yes. Yeah, because these guys are freaking men.
Also, I do love like 80% of these guys are all from India. Yeah.
Some of the male attendees reportedly lied about being non-binary.
Oh,
how do you know they lied?
Wow. It works when they don't want it to work, huh?
How do you know they lied?
How do you know they lied? That is some messed up shit.
I thought
that is bigoted.
I thought gender was fluid, and they woke up the morning they were registering for the conference, and they felt binary.
Well, their kind of gender fluid was not welcome there, Tina.
I saw one dude said they had no researchable social history showing that they are non-binary. Like what? What does that even mean? So you went and searched through their social media history, like they never said they were they them until this day.
Yeah, like maybe they didn't feel comfortable until they got to this conference, being surrounded by people that should be supporting them. It's messed up.
Some of the male attendees reportedly lied about being non-binary just to get in.
But it's interesting that the large majority of the people that actually ended up in the event had name tags with he, him.
And so? What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Your pronouns do not have to match your preferred gender. Sorry.
Yes.
Not preferred.
Absolutely. Right.
It's not my preferred gender. I was born this way.
Yeah.
Sorry. You did in this one instance. You did correct me, Mad. It is actually no longer called a preferred gender. It is now a personal gender, and they are now personal pronouns. But when you say preferred, it means that you're saying, "Hey, I would appreciate you call me by these pronouns." Where now it's called a personal pronoun because you are now obligated to call me by that pronoun. But by the way, I don't buy into this bullshit. It's just part of my job.
We get it. But also, we get it. But also, I don't know I don't know how I feel about her so quickly being like, in this one instance, you were correct, Mad. Like, what?
Well, she has a point. But I love how these people come attack, like when we attack people like this is bullshit. This sex offender is dressing up like a woman to go into a girl's bathroom, but we're the bad people for pointing that out, that he has a boner in the bathroom while he's in there. But now it's like, because it's working against you, and people found the loophole and they're taking advantage of that to better their lives and their careers. And I don't know if it's a loophole. They might be non-binary and they just want to come out at this conference. I don't know. I can't assume. You taught me that, people. I can't assume. And now you attack these men, these brave men, people, thems. You attack these brave thems.
Thems.
Yes, and I'm disgusted with they.
And have no searchable history of identifying as non-binary.
What does that mean? You're stalker. That's what I hear.
Wait, did he just say what I said?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. We'll listen to him again, because this is just brilliant. I just love this.
We don't need to hear
we're going for it.
But it's interesting that the large majority of the people that actually ended up in the event had name tags with he, him, and have no searchable history of identifying as non-binary.
There it is.
Several tech workers.
Yep. Like, no searchable history. Come on, dude. Person. I don't know what to say. All I know is these guys, thems, want a job, and they should be allowed in this conference of people.
Dude, all right, skinny jeans is one thing, but this motherfucker, these jeans are beyond skinny jeans.
Yeah, they are.
You see this?
Pants? Yeah.
He literally looks like he's on toothpicks.
Yeah. I mean, his shoes are pretty big for a guy with toothpicks. All right. Or a person with toothpicks.
Offended the men for trying to capitalize on job opportunities not meant for them, saying that the entire concept was wrong.
Let's be honest, there is no need for a conference just for women, because if it was the opposite, just for men, then it would be sexist.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh, there's logic.
Coming from a person that may identify as a female, and that's, let's, as men, okay, please go on.
A couple days ago when this went down, I was looking at on Twitter, and everyone involved in this conference, right, when they would be responding to people like, I can't believe this happened, like, girl, we're behind you, whatever. And everybody kept asking, how do you know if they're really non-binary or not? How do you determine who is pretending to be non-binary? They ignored all of it. They never would address that question.
Right. Because you opened the door to us proving your whole ideology is bullshit. You're using it to get a leg up in the world. And when we point that out, you attack us and try to cancel people and call them sexist. And, just something my 9-year-old, came at me because they have belittled these words down and use them so frequently. She has this course she does after school where there's some teenagers, and the idea of racism, sexism, and the word Nazi has been whittled down so much that my wife and I were talking. She's like, yes, and this really funny black lady was behind me. My daughter was like, oh, that's racist, Mom. And she's like, why? Why is that racist? She's like, because you pointed out her color. I'm like, well, Dad never saw the woman. I was just trying to give him an image of what I was talking about. And in the picture, he could tell which woman I'm talking about. She's like, yeah, no, but it's racist to say anything about. So these kids are believing. We had to sit down with her and explain to her what racism really is.
Yeah, that's a descriptor.
Yeah, right. We gave her the definition of what it is, what real racism is, not what kids have been told it is so much now that now everything is racist.
I was so the girlfriend and I, we took a trip down to the coast for a conference she had, and I had a whole bunch of Patrice O'Neal ready to go, because I love Patrice O'Neal. If you never listened to him, look him up. Oh, he's amazing. Great. One of the greatest comics ever. Some say too real. That's why he never got big, because he was just too real people. But something he said in one of his bits was, do not let guilt get you murdered. He was like, if you're walking down the street and you see a group of black kids coming towards you and inside night, don't just keep walking towards them, because you don't want to be called racist if you turn around and walk the other way. Right. Do not let guilt get you murdered.
Walk across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
If you look at the chick that let the dude inside of her apartment, why? Because she did the guilt of her being accused of being racist for not letting him in the building got her murdered.
Yeah, it's crazy that when your body's telling you this is not a good idea, you have been programmed to not listen to your own thoughts. You're not listen to anything and be like, oh man, someone can have a camera on me right now and I'll be viral tomorrow being bad.
It's like, not being racist, it's being observant.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, going back to your daughter, I mean, my son he has to take 6 anthropology classes if he wants to get a minor in that. And for him, since he's majoring in biochemistry, wants to get in forensic science, anthropology, that's the whole, that's the whole nuts and bolts about the fact that you're studying. Exactly. Study the remains and all of that. So he figures it's going to be awesome. So he takes an archaeology class. He takes a language, anthropology of language, anthropology of religion, anthropology of culture, anthropology of this, and he's like, Mom, this is the 6th class where they're just drilling gender identity and racism into my head. And he's like, I came here to learn something about the social science of anthropology. And he's like, I can't believe that this is saying what it's saying. And he's like, because I wasn't just getting into minor in anthropology because I wanted on my resume. I wanted to learn this for the basis of my future career.
Right.
And he's a senior in the class, and it's a fall, so there's a lot of freshmen, a couple of sophomores, because these are lower level anthropology classes. And it's absolutely insane because literally day freaking 1, there's a list of here's the words we're not allowed to use in the classroom. This is the gesture or what you're supposed to do if you're starting to feel threatened.
Oh my God.
By other people's discussion.
We are weakening a generation. We are weakening a generation just so we can get invaded. I really colleges have turned into something more than just socialist, places where guys,
indoctrination centers.
They're worse than that now. They're even worse than that, man. They are even not indoctrinating our children. They are programming them to be weak so that when they get out of school and something from outside attacks us, they will just throw their hands up because, capitalism's bad. Why am I going to defend this country? Blah, blah, blah. We are weak. Men aren't supposed to show aggression. They can't show any strength. So all these soy boys, it's terrifying. The only people that will defend us are the lesbians. That's it.
And the trucker lesbians too.
Yeah,
fat fingered, sausage fingered ones. Yeah, real ones.
The dude in the relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cancel
the bull.
YouTube, I don't care.
Not the cow, the bull. Yeah.
Yes. That is the truth. All right, let's finish this real quick.
Just because you are a woman doesn't give you the right to talk to a big firm recruiter. Guys work just as hard and they don't get that chance.
That's it. I like to see people actually defending these men for once. Jesus.
They were they thems.
Yeah. It's freaking tiring.
The indoctrination is real, guys. I mean, Scotty, Atina, y'all know because you're my close friends. I was talking to somebody who very different outlook on life, what we would call a far leftist, and we were having a great conversation for a few days. Great times, great convos. Really, met up on a lot of personal levels, and then she started to stalk my social media and look through and comb through everything, and she, to her credit, she told me, she's like, I'm stalking your stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm a YouTuber, go ahead. And everything was fine until this one night, very eloquent speaker, by the way, very eloquent, well-spoken person, until what's this? Let's go, Brandon, on your YouTube page. What's this about? And then all of a sudden, dude, it was like you could hear the wheel of indoctrination grind every other part of the brain to the halt. And she started stuttering. She couldn't put out a coherent sentence. It was just like the only people who say that. And I was like, yeah, it's a joke because it was funny. It's cognitive dissonance. You have a reporter and a person, a racer up there, the entire crowd saying one thing. And because she would have gotten in trouble if she had repeated it. So she had to make something up. Let's go, Brandon. Stuff. And, I said, that's the power of, the power and control the media has over everyone. And she was just like, well, she brought up all these points that didn't matter. Like, she had a cat named Karl Marx, guys. That's like, I knew what she was trying to say, but I just completely ignored it. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'll tell Carl I said hi. And then I just kept talking. Oh God! By the way, guys, I just want to let you know from personal experience, okay, it is not saying you voted for Trump in 2020 that will get you cut off by an SJW. It's making a joke about Big Mike. That she couldn't handle that. Got hung up on about that. So Michelle's a woman, and I. So we got through that. Scotty, I got some dude. The only thing I didn't get to do, Scott, was have sex with this chick and say we just made sex great again. I was gonna do that shit.
Next thing we know, you're in court.
Oh, bro, I wanted to grab her by the pussy so bad. Anyway, but there was the little things that I did get out. I got to explain to her. Because at one point we were like, we did keep talking after that night. By the second conversation, she was still on about the Trump thing. Like, because dude, I went from a potential mate to a Confederate flag waving, racist, sexist, backwards, Southern, blah, 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 everything that they're taught that anyone who doesn't think like a far leftist is. Right. And Proud Boy, all that stuff. And at one point I asked her, I said, do you have TDS? And she said, what is that? Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, I got to explain Trump derangement syndrome to an SJW with Trump derangement syndrome. It was beautiful. But
when's that video coming out?
but the point is that, like, I'm talking with another human being on a personal level. We're having great communication, life experiences, talking about it was, she had been through a narcissistic relationship before. Like, we got to talk about all these things. And the moment that political social ideology came in that was different than hers, with her extremist view, that indoctrination wheel, man, it just started cranking up and she couldn't even think. It was all about what she had been taught to believe. And I went from someone who was just another human being or a potential boyfriend to being the most horrible thing on the earth because of how she'd been taught. Yeah. And that is what they're doing. That's what they're doing in our schools, in these colleges. That is how they are approaching our young people. And it's a terrifying thing. It's a re-education of and it has nothing to do with, and in true social justice fashion, nothing to do with inclusivity. Oh, by the way, another thing, please don't make any jokes about Saint Floyd to an SJW. That will get you hung up on. Oh yeah, she was a BLM marcher. I found that out after I brought that up. Anyway, yeah. So, I thought it was going to be a great relationship. I was ready. I was all in, guys. But the point is, like, this is where it's going. Like, the people are being taught not to think openly, not to embrace other ideas, not to understand that we're all built different. We come from different, backgrounds or ideologies, and learning about them, you can learn more about yourself and the world around you. It's not like that with extremist ideology. It is you think this way or you are evil.
Well, that's why these soy boys are following these women completely and utterly.
Oh, yeah.
In their ideology, because they're like, I'm never going to get laid. I truly believe it. They buy into it and they lie to themselves about what a man's supposed to be. I mean, it's this weakness that they think they are protected by society, and society holds on by a thread, man. This thing we call freedom is held on by a thread. And when you have people that are willing to say it's not worth it, like, you're the first ones that are going to die, dude. Like, not from our hand, but from outside influences coming in. Like, think about who's been crossing the border. Military age men, a lot of them. And you see these attacks on other countries, just like today. I won't say them because YouTube will shut us down, but Rumble will keep us up. But you have the attacks that have been happening, and you've seen the footage of girls getting just taken away and men being killed.
My God.
It's terrifying to watch, man. But how many of them are already here?
It's even like how many are here, but it's like how many have been indoctrinated into intolerance. Because this is the life deal. This is the pursuit of happiness in America, right? We're about tolerating other people. And we've worked toward that. We've had to work toward that, with civil liberties and such. But now we're getting to a point where it's become, if you are an extremist, you're acceptable, but you have to have the right extremism. And if you're a moderate, you're the devil. And that's that. And being a moderate type person is what kind of keeps the glue of the country together. They're really trying to eliminate that.
Yeah. So I am going to I'm copying this, guys. Do me a favor, jump over to Rumble, because I am going to shut down YouTube right now because I'm about to show something that says breaking news. And
let's do it.
It's definitely a Rumble, and not because I know YouTube will not want me repeating what is here. And I do want to keep the channel up till, Rumble gets moving. So please join us over there. There is a chat I'm looking at. I will try to copy and paste if need be and stuff, or I'll at least read them out. Move over there just if you can. If you're on a computer, go over there. If you don't have the app, that's fine. Maybe do it on the online. Just follow us over there because I am shutting it down and we are going over there because holy shimolies, what is being a country's being accused of right now will make our country look horrible. So please,
Sporking fact.
Follow us over there for news break. All right. Thank you to YouTube people. Please join us over there. I see people already jumping on the chat. So we got 14 over there from 2. So thank you guys. We're shutting it down. We'll see you there in a minute.